This video is sponsored by Next Level Racing. This is the WINWING Takeoff panel version 2, and today we're going to compare this new panel that's been out for a few months now to the WINWING PTO2 and as well as the Combat Ready panel, both panels which I have flown with for about 2 years. This is Juice, thanks for joining, and let's get into the review. Okay, as you can see here, we have the new PTO2 up against the first version of this panel right here. This is the Takeoff panel version 1, and I went ahead and left it connected with the Combat Ready panel because I want to show you some of the redundancy features that I saw and also be able to compare the quality of these two panels to this panel. Now, in this panel here, I'm going to go from left to right, and I'll tell you about what I like and don't like going from left to right. And I'll tell you what I really like about this, that I wish this could have been upgraded to the standard of this in some areas. But let's go to that and we'll go to the video. So with this, starting over here on the left, the landing gear, I like this. I like that you have an actual lift lock. You have to pull it out at you and go like that. And if you drew it down like this, you have to lift it in two. And if you put it in the middle position, if you want to set that to something, you can easily go up or down and it'll stay locked, or you can go like that and it'll stay locked without having to pull it out. So I like that. What I don't like about the new panel is it's not beefy. It's not as sturdy as over here because it's just not, it's got a lot of plastic. It's hollow inside. And I think they had to do that to get the function to work with the, with the lock mechanism to be able to slide within the shaft there. Now, moving to the right, I do like the new launch bar. As a matter of fact, I wish I could have got this launch bar, this physical, the way it feels. It's solid. It's got a nice click to you. You definitely feel like when you activate it, you reach up. As you guys know that fly, when you're looking in the cockpit, your eyes are outside most of the time. When you need to reach over and do something in the cockpit that's a heads down function, you go over, you verify the switch, put your finger on it, and then you look back up to see where you're flying and you go ahead and do it. And that gives you plenty of tactile feedback right there. Even if you reach down and you went like this and then you felt for the T-bar, you can do it by feel. Nothing wrong with that at all. I would love to take and move this to this panel right here. This is my favorite panel still. The flap switch is pretty much the same as the other one, but you'll notice one difference is on this one, I went ahead and put an extension. I just basically took what would look like the end of a wire crimp cap, put it over it, and then I crimped the end to give it a little bit of a flat look. And so this is real easy to feel tactilely wise and grab. It's a lot easier for me to grab than to reach down and grab this, which is a little short, but you don't want this too long because then it could break off easily. Moving to the jettison switch, we're going in line with like this to the right, and it follows the pattern of this pretty much exactly. But the jettison switch, what I like about this one is the outer bezel turns around to select the station, and the jettison switch stays centered. You still see jet, and you push that to jettison, push and hold. And this right here is kind of cool, has all the same positions. It's even bigger, it's more realistically sized. This is a little smaller. What I like about this one is it's made out of metal. What I don't like about this one is the jettison turns as you turn. So you see that? So it'd be nice to have the quality of this with the size and function of this. That would be awesome. Then going to the right again, you've got the jet select station. Now this is something that is already present on the old Combat Ready panel, as you can see over here. If I look over here, you've got all the 5 positions that you can use. And again, these are all lit up like this right now because I haven't synced with the cockpit of the jet. Once I jump into F-16s or F-18s in DCS, all of these lights go out, including the gear handle light. And the only time you'll see this gear handle light right here illuminate, if it's set up correctly, is while it's in travel. When you do a call to bring the gear up, the whole time that the doors are open and the gear is coming up, you'll get the light will flash, flash, flash. And as soon as you're secured and you've got a good lock light on the door, the light will go out. The one other time that you will see this flashing is when you're approaching low speed and possibly low altitude. I haven't really, I've been as high as 5,000 feet, slowed down, and it sensed that I was getting too slow for landing. It might be a altitude proximity. If you guys know the Hornet better than I do, please put this in a comment. But basically, when you're low altitude and you're coming in, if you forget to put your gear down, you'll get this light flashing, but you'll also get in your headphones, you'll get Whoop, 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 whoop. So if you guys ever hear that, that's not a stall warning. That's a gear warning that you're about to land with your gear up. So tower, check wheels down. So moving over, we got the hook. The hook, same with the gear handle. The hook function on this one is a lift lock and goes down. And I like that. I like the function. The other thing I like about this is it actually has the hook like that you have in the cockpit. This lets you know when you're on the deck and you've freed tension from the pennant of being, catching the wire. When you're free of that and the hook is free, that light will illuminate, letting you know that it's safe to lift it up. And a lot of times if you're not careful, if you don't have your throttle set, you may have a little bit of pressure pushing you forward, or you may have landed and you put your feet on the brakes and you're actually stretched on the cable with your feet on the brakes, so you can't roll backwards to let the hook drop off of the wire. And so when that light comes on, that means that you're free of the wire and you can lift it up. What I don't like about this is just the plasticky feel. It's just, I think if you didn't own these two panels already, this would be a great panel to own. But if you've got this one and you're planning on buying this one to add to it, I think the size, if you look at the size of this, it's a good 2 to 2.5, almost 3 inches wider. And there's some redundant functions that probably could have just stayed on that panel. Again, I don't know. I didn't have a relationship with WINWING, but when this came out, I don't know what the thought process was with that. The wing lock, I like this. It's almost in the same position down here. I like this handle, but it's a little flimsy. And as you guys will see, I'm going to put Red Kite's video because he does a whole unboxing and setting it up and syncing it and everything. But this comes off pretty easy. That was one of the biggest complaints from most people. The function of it in the real world, this is locked in and you pull it out one and then you can rotate it. That's the real function. In this one, you push to lock and unlock, which is, it's an electronic device for a flight simulator. So I guess it's adequate. If I could have this, but with this style of quality right here, this solid clunk that I get from the gear and stuff. So that's coming across. Really like this, except I think this could have been broken up different parts of the panel. Nose left and right in one area, and then flaps half and full in another. And just because that's a lot of information, it's kind of busy. You look down, you might be glancing real quick to see if you've got 3 green, and then see what your flap setting is, and it's all a lot to process. Again, if you don't fly a sim pit and you just need something to use as a gear handle, flap handle, jettison, parking brake, wing lock, this is a great unit. I would still get it if I didn't already have these two. Coming across, the parking brake handle is really neat in the size. It's plastic, so it doesn't feel like the real one. It's about the same size as the real one. It's been a long time since I sat in the cockpit of any fighter that had one of these. But the function of it's not, you should be able to pull it and then turn it to 90 degrees like this. And I can't even get mine to go 90 degrees. I may have to see why it's not doing that. Because normally if you look at their preview video that I posted last week, it goes up to 90 degrees. And if you want it locked, usually you'd want to pull it and turn it and it would stay 90 degrees. So then to release it, you just pull out to release it. It's set up electronically so that you can pull for emergency brake and then you can push to basically toggle it. You push it and then turn, but it's pull and turn for park brake. And if you pull it, you can't turn it. So mine may have been put together wrong. I don't know. If I pull it up like that, it's locked. It won't turn. Now moving over here, we've got the probe extend. This is pretty cool. Just want to let you guys know that if you can set this to any 3-way position or a 2-way position switch in the cockpit through the DCS software. However, if you extend it and you bring it out halfway and you take it back to here, it'll stop. And then if you try to close it, it won't close until you go through a full cycle. So you have to push it until it goes all the way out and the door closes. Then you can bring and close it. So just play around with that on the ground till you get familiar with it. The anti-skid is kind of cool because it's a single pull, single throw. It's a lift lock where you've got to lift it up to unlock it and then slide it up. And it's really neat because you can't accidentally bump it if you don't mean to when you're messing around with your switches and stuff. So again, and it's tactilely, it feels like kind of like a chest piece head. It's like a crown head, what you would see with the queen or with the king, minus the frilly stuff on it. The landing light switch, the only thing, I like this one. I like the feel of it and everything. The only thing I don't like is I would have liked to have had the horizontal landing light switch. If you guys Google fighter jet landing light switch, or if you look in the Hornet on DCS, you'll see that it's usually kind of an oval shaped thing with little pointy ends, you know, or a little bit, they taper at the end. They're not really pointy, but it's got 3 dots on it, and that's a tactile feel too. You get down there and you feel it. Then finishing up over on this side, we've got the hook. I'll move the gear handle out of the way. We've got the hook bypass for field of carrier. Pretty much it's the same over here. Not really any change right there and right there. Kind of the same. About the same quality. I like that this one's subducted and it's got the light, you know, illuminated side. Now, if you notice the lighting, before we finish the rest of the panel, look at the lighting. This is how I fly. I fly with about that much lighting right there. You can see I've got them balanced, illuminated. The angles might be a little different from what you guys are seeing, but this is how I fly, and I think the backlighting is just about right. But you can customize that in the software, in the SimApp Pro. When you look at Red Kite's review of this item, he pointed out that the master caution, when that goes off and you go to reset it, you got to be careful not to push the jettison switch and everything. But realistically, if you reach up first and just reach over, look, verify, push it. What I would really love to see with this setup right here is to have them actually come out with a version 3 of both of these, but split them vertically for left and right. So you'd have a smaller right side panel to put the stuff that's on the right side of the cockpit, and you'd have a smaller left side panel to have that. So I think that's about all it for the comparison. I would really like to know what you guys think of this panel set right here, and then compare it to the new one. If you guys are somebody that has converted over, let me know your thoughts, what you felt about it. Also, if you are thinking about buying one of these, I can't tell you enough that you will enjoy it. It's not cheap. It's well made. It's inexpensive for what you get, but it's a great way to speed up time in your cycles between landing, takeoff, getting ready for the boat, doing case 1, emergencies if you need to jettison stuff like that, and resetting your master caution. It's really nice to reach down. You feel these guarded areas similar to what's in the aircraft. One of the things I would love to see is a panel with engine and fuel instrumentation. What I would like to do is have a switch that once you set your bingo, let's say you're at 8K and you want to go down to 7.5 or 6.5, you want to dump some fuel to be light enough. What you do is you go ahead and set your bingo, and then you turn it on to dump. And as soon as it reaches the bingo, you'll hear bingo, bingo, and it'll automatically go to center. That would be awesome if we could get that. Well, that's pretty much it. I appreciate you guys watching. If you see anything that I missed, leave it in a comment and share your thoughts with us. We love your comments. We'd like you to share the video if you think this can help somebody. But if you're thinking about getting this, I can't not recommend it. For me, it's a no-brainer that I still have this. It has all the functions of this, plus, minus a few extras. Yes, it's nice to have the lights here, but I'm always heads in the cockpit anyway. I'm looking at the real screen most of the time, and for me, that's adequate. But if I didn't own either one of these, I would buy this in a heartbeat. Everybody take care and have a good week.